Hello everybody, greetings and hello for this Terran video where we will be going ahead and taking a look at some Terran macro mechanics, as it is going to be a focus on the Mule command center's building and being able to produce as Terran in an efficient manner. So we're just going to have me go on against the computer once again, just to be able to show the basics of what goes on when you play Terran. I'm going to be using the gasless fast expand, the 1 racks, no gas fast expand. That's a very, very easy and very good thing to do in every single matchup. So versatile build, you can go ahead and pretty much tech in anything you want from it as long as you do it safely. Of course, you're at a risk earlier on. And let's go ahead and talk about the build order a little bit, and a few universal things that Terran can definitely do to help be more efficient and wall at their front. Specifically because this is TVZ, you're going to see that I did rally my SCV to that ramp. It was the 9th SCV in order to build the supply depot on the 10 food count in order to really be able to get that out ASAP. You can see how I was supply blocked for a split second there. It will always happen. And then we just got a nice fun thing where I just patrol a heart before I get 150 minerals to go ahead and build that get barracks. You're also supposed to build the barracks on 13 food for this, just so you can go ahead and get constant SCV production. It's sort of what happened with the barracks build time nerf. I'm not a Terran player. I'm going to specifically say flat out that Terran is my worst race when I specifically played them, but it's still, macro-wise, it's one of these simpler things that you need to go ahead and take care of because of the fact that mules are a very easy thing to use. Very simply, you plop them down, and by the end of their lifetime, you'll either get 240, 270, or more if it's a gold in terms of minerals, as I did look it up, the exact amount of minerals you get. Depends on whether you get 8 or 9 trips, so the close mineral patches, you'll get 9 trips, allow you to get 270 minerals, 30 minerals per trip, and for those farther mineral patches that are 8, you only get 8 trips in, you get 240 minerals from 270, 240, if I mix them up, it still gets the point across. Because I've already done all those macro videos before, this is unfortunately the last one that I did. But still, you're going to go ahead and see exactly what's going to be happening. See, I'm just getting a nice little scout around, and there is the command center being thrown down. I almost said Nexus at first. But still, to look at the build order for a second, it is 10 supply depot, 13 barracks, 15 marine. You do that, you get the orbital command, whichever one comes first, doesn't really matter. First, I think I do the orbital command first, then the marine, just because I figure I want those mules. And then you actually build that command center once that marine is done, and that's still technically on the 16 food supply because of the fact that the orbital command is still morphing. So then you get marine after that, you're good, you start getting a supply, you have a supply depot down there as well. I think this game I actually did a little bit late, but it's okay. So I'm trying to get the point across of what are the possibilities for what you can do. So now, you do see that, actually, I'm going to do this just to make it a little bit easier. So there you go, now you get a food count under that. So now, you get that, you get the bunker, you get the supply, the extra barracks downs, you get that power thing I was talking about at the beginning, macro video, where you can power, and you get those second and third racks at the exact same time in order to help yourself with the production of them. Now, something I haven't quite figured out is the timing of getting the refineries. I'll be getting the double refinery fairly soon in order to be able to get add-ons and everything on the barracks. That's right now you see me hotkeying everything to their respective places. There's, you can see me getting the double refinery just at the, I probably should have gotten one of them maybe, and then I can get that or command instantaneously, but still pretty okay timing. So now I'm going to see these guys moving forward. I'm able to mule. I can go ahead and scan. I've got the bunker for defense. It's a pretty solid build to go. You can always bring down the barracks and use them for the wall. Just I wasn't stressing over that. I'm playing against a very easy computer, as you can tell by the food count that he has at the moment. So just simple things to go ahead and take a look at. Standard guides in the minerals, the gas, whatever. And now I'm going to go ahead and just say something about being able to produce as Terran, is that aggressive Terrans have a very, very nice way to macro that makes it really effective to be aggressive, as your macro is less likely to slip if you're good about your hotkeys and managing what builds what. So let's just say you're going to be aggressive with a marine tank push against Zerg, and you want to have your tanks in a nice position on the low ground, and you just want to dance around back and forth with marines coming out of a medevac and going against the main, trying to draw units back and get into the siege tanks on the low ground to attack, which is what I'm going to end up be doing in this game. Something you can easily do is just have all your production facilities on, let's just say 2, that's what I do, and you can basically control your attack and just periodically go to A, tab, S, tab, DD. What I just then was build Marines, tab to get the factory to build the tank, and then tab to the starport to build medevacs. Alternatively, you can do something like have all your racks on 1, all your factories on 2, all your starports on 3. It's a dealer's choice. Whatever works for you, go ahead and do. Because it's what your hockey setup is what works for you, not necessarily working for others. For example, in Brood War, I don't know if you guys do this, but your probes, their hockey was P. So your nexuses, you wouldn't want to go 1P because it's all across the board. People mostly do 0P, 9P for nexuses, and have it be a little bit of a reverse setup than what your normal, with your Zerg or Terran, what you would do, where you'd probably have it on 1 or something like that. You can just go 1S, 1SD, whatever that. But Noni, or Tyler, as he's sometimes known, I think he's just going by both now, he actually used to use 1 for his nexuses, which is unheard of for Protoss, or high-level Protoss especially. So you can see, whatever works for you is perfectly fine. Now, you do see me trying to build supply depots in advance, prevent myself being supply blocked, and constantly producing SCVs. So at this point, I've got 38 SCVs on the field, a lot better than the 8 that Zerg has at the moment, which is fine. I mean, it varies a computer, so it's not exactly a big deal in the least, but you can see me adding on barracks, getting add-ons, getting tech, getting combat shield, stim, all that, +1 weapons. Something I really focus on whenever I play is getting upgrades, and I grabbed a SCV that had minerals in hand to build a gas geyser. That's unfortunate. I hate doing that. That's a mistake on my part, but not a huge deal there. So you can see my money's still staying fairly low. My gas is a little bit high, but I'm about to start getting siege tanks and dropships out, so it's not a big deal at all. You can see me doing another thing that Terran definitely needs to learn how to do, and that's hopping, doing just building hopping, whatever you want to call that. So go ahead and get the fast double medevac. You can utilize this for doing some nice pushing, dropping, double drops, all that. It's a nice way to go and be aggressive after a passive beginning with a 1 gate expand, or 1 racks expand. Sorry, just for you Terrans out there, just go ahead and keep that in mind. The thing you can do is build command centers inside your base so you can expand safely. Very smart thing to do. It keeps your macro from suffering. Zergs and Protoss, you have to place that nexus or hatchery directly where you need to be, and that can be a little bit of a death seal sometimes if you expand towards an aggressive person. So you can see that right now all the units are being added to the hockeys and everything. I'm researching, getting out siege tanks, looking solid. I've got the armor now coming down for my Marines. Everything's looking pretty decent at the moment, as I've got a nice infrastructure. I'm continuing to build SCVs. This is actually something I was talking about in the Protoss video, was how chrono boosts can sometimes screw up your timing of building up units. Well, my SCV production is looking a lot better this game than it did in the last game, except for the supply block that I just experienced. Other than that, those have been pretty consistent. 17 seconds, get those SCVs. So it's looking pretty solid except for the supply block. Now you can see siege tanks coming down. We've got the siege mode going down. We've got the capacity to get the +2 infantry upgrades now, which is going to be very, very nice to do. You see I got the armor going down. And now this is what I was talking about before, with that push of the Marines, the tanks, and all that. On supply blocks, that's another thing you can easily do as Terran, is end supply blocks by calling down supply drop things. I probably should talk about more about the order command at the very, very beginning. Talk about the mules, but not the supply drop that a lot of people can go ahead and fix supply blocks immediately with in order to find that really nice way to spend that money. And this is what I was talking about before. The siege tanks on the low ground, you see this one actually doing the middle ground for that Antigua shipyard thing. You can easily do this at this spot. It's a nice spot to abuse. And now we're going to have the medevacs going in, and I can just continue producing by pressing 2 AAA. As of right now, though, it's a habit I have from playing Brood War, is when I play Terran, I just go over to production facilities to build them, and it's just something that I do. It's completely not necessary. Now my money's going to start getting really, really high. My income, I'm at 1,500 with 60 SCVs out, it seems. 62 SCVs out, 12 minutes into the game, so it's looking pretty solid for that production. But now let's just see moving forward, stimming and trying to force his units to move and attack me. But notice I can still go ahead and work on the macro. I've got a nice positioning. It's actually transfusing the infestation pit, which I find a little bit amusing that the Queen has the energy to do that. 2 transfuses like that, that's not good for a Zerg to be able to do that. But now you can see him pushing forward, doing damage. And if you watch the bottom, you can see how I am still producing all of these SCVs and everything, transferring them, moving over there. Screen hotkeys are a great key for that. And you can see this build as I just macro up and just get everything going. The Marines, the tanks, the medevacs, all of that can come down pretty easily. I continue working on upgrades too. You can see I'm getting the +2 weapons. I'm continuing pushing forward. And you can see my money is high, but I'm going ahead and looking at the bottom. You can watch as my screen is darting around as I build things and just send people into the refineries. So it's pretty just normal stuff as I'm just trying to attack and be aggressive. You can see it's 14 minutes in the game. I've got 71 SCVs, 2,800 mineral income. That's ridiculous, and I can't handle it. I'm not used to playing Terran. My money has skyrocketed. I'm getting supply blocked. I'm producing a lot. I don't have enough production facilities to really handle this. So what I'm going to be doing pretty soon, as in right now, is plopping down barracks so I can go ahead and spend my money. Starting to watch this move in, but the opponent called GG, so I'm just going to accept it. But you can sort of see the trend of what's going on. When the game ends, 74 SCVs, 14 minutes in the game, constant production of SCVs, and I've got 2,500 mineral income. I'm plopping down an additional, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 barracks. Those can all get reactors and tech labs or whatever whatever your heart desires, moving forward to whatever production you want. But I've got the constant production of siege tanks. The medevacs are all produced. I can go ahead and get my extra upgrades. I've got the +2 going down. All of these guys are here looking solid. Look at this reinforcing army. If I lost these guys, well, look at that. I have another army ready to go and attack. So that's just something to note that you can do, as Terran is just macro while you attack very, very easily. What is that animation? I think that might be the decaying carcass of a drone. It's kind of cool. Never actually looked at those before. But still, now you can go ahead and just go ahead and take a look at Terran macro. Mules are so very effective. You can see that with my 2,500 income off of these 3 bases. But remember, constantly produce SCVs, as that is such a huge thing to try and deal with when you play Terran, is you've got to produce those SCVs. It's easy to rely on mules. Do not fall into that trap. It will really, really hurt your gameplay. As you can see right now, I'm not a Terran player, but 15 minutes into the game, I'm close to max, 2,500 income, 3 bases, 74 SCVs, with more coming down. I've not stopped producing SCVs yet, and that's going to give me a huge capacity to get a lot of units. For example, all those barracks that I threw down. So just keep that in mind when you guys play Terran. You will want to actually stop using mules at some point around the mid-ish, late-ish game. You're going to basically use them, all your energy, for scans. So you're going to need to use those for seeing infestors, DTs, cloaked banshees, cloaked ghosts. All that are going to be very, very necessary. Plus, you want to keep an eye on his base count, where his army is, his positioning. And it's really important, especially when you think about tanks, and how tanks have more range for attacking than they actually do for sight. Excuse me, I burped. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if that was a hiccup. I don't even know. It's a weird one. But that aside, my health issues aside, we're going to go ahead and just take a look at the fact that you guys need to build SCVs. If you do that, you are very, very, very good position, as you can be aggressive and macro easily and keep reinforcing, set your rally points. It'll help you a lot. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned. I hope you appreciated my attempt at playing a little bit of Terran for you guys. I will just say thank you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I shall just be off for now. Bye-bye.